Ta-da! And welcome to Astrology and Alchemy with Paranormal Sarah and Matthew Slozier. You guys, it is May 9th and we're back. We're back. We're here. Man, Matthew, how have you been?
Doing okay. I know I haven't been on for like a couple weeks, and then you weren't on last week. We did music instead of predictions, and so yeah, it's good to have you back.
Man, guys, we are ready to do this and be paid lots of money to do it. So we're just putting that out there. Because, you know, for those of you who've joined us over the years, this is something we do for our leisure and, you know, we do work and we have things. I know for myself, last week, putting family members on hospice, and I just was not in the best spirits to be online. And so each and every week that we are maybe not present at and on the hour, I really appreciate your guys' patience. And for those of you guys joining us back tonight and every night, whether it's on, what is it? The Subspace now, as well as Odyssey Radio, iHeartRadio, anywhere that you listen or download your favorite podcast, you can likely be catching us, but you might be on YouTube right now. Who knows? Where are you at? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. I'm looking at the chat. Man, Pepper, Mary, Rebel, someone. I graduated college on May 4th. Congratulations, Pepper. For anybody of those people graduating, all of yours have graduated, haven't they?
Mine.
No?
My daughter in Pennsylvania graduates in a week and a half. Next Saturday, not this Saturday, the Saturday after.
Oh my gosh. And that's the last one.
Well, no, she's the only one that went full time. I have another one that's going part time.
Okay.
And then another one that's planning on starting.
And for you, that's college. Like they're all graduated high school. So your kids' college.
They're all young adults.
Wow. I still think about that. My kids are a lot younger. And so, dang. Wandering aimlessly, said Steph. Some people were wondering. I know some people looking for all of us to join in last week and the week before that. Matt, when you weren't able to join us, we miss you when we don't have you on the show. And so I think having us together, I think it's a good dynamic. So I'm glad that we're here tonight. And
hello from Manchester, England. So hello.
Manchester. Gosh, my in-laws.
Early morning there. So thank you for staying with us.
And I'm really thankful that some of our favorite astrologers and home astrologers and chat astrologers are out there joining us to help in, because I always am interested in the advice, and I am going to pull up the planetary thing so that maybe we can look at what is going on as far as, let's just go ahead and start for Wednesday, see what Steph has for any of the movements of astrology. But guys, if you're joining us for the very first time, this is an opportunity for you to get out a piece of paper, join in the chat room, email yourself, text it, write down what you think comes to you in the astrology, how you feel like these movements are going to affect you. Listen and join in and hopefully see how astrology can help in your intuitive prediction space and validation of like connection. What do you think, Matt? What's a good way of using this show?
I would say the main thing for this show, I mean, people can hone in their own skills by trying to do their own kind of play along prediction wise and things. But I feel this show in particular is good for kind of outlining week to week what's going to happen and get some kind of advice over things to look for. Because again, this is not predictions like what you see like in movies where, you know, these little detail things are going to happen. But I'd say these are more like energetic nudges. And so, you know, if you know which way the currents are going and which way people are getting nudged, you can kind of plan ahead on that.
Planning ahead. I like that. I think that a lot of people find it to be minimizing their anxiety. There are ways to kind of help plan the week if they have or want to kind of integrate a better routine. Just ways of doing that. So some really cool questions in the chat room. Feel free to ask and extend on some of those. We'll do our best to answer what we can as we go along. But let's do Wednesday. And this is kind of an extension of what is happening kind of late tonight into tomorrow morning. And since there's not a whole lot of movements, and please, Steph and astrologers out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but for Wednesday, the 10th, the only thing that is hugely happening that I have, the first is this. So we will put that in there. And then I'm already seeing Steph sharing some of her things. Squaring off the moon, squaring off with Jupiter. But let's first address that the sun is in Taurus and it's conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So we have a lot of Taurus kind of energy. And this, just this first. Let's just address this first.
Stable, stubborn, and indulgent is Taurus energy. Conjunct is combining the energy. So we're combining sun, which is kind of your outward extroverted energy, with Uranus, which is you call it the Winona Ryder. I call it the great curveball. It's thinking out of the box. It's innovative. It's unexpected. It's kind of just kind of the wild card out there. And so you have this weird thing. I feel it's kind of like in a contradictory space, in that you have an energy that doesn't want to change in Uranus, which is, a change agent, in Taurus, which is an energy that doesn't want to change. So I always say this is rebelling by not doing. And so that's the big combo. Look for, I would say tomorrow, look for passive aggressive things of people that just decide not to do something that they should do or normally do, or so that's my
Ferdinand the Bull. Prediction. I always think of Ferdinand and saying, like, get out there and fight the fight, and him going like, I'm not gonna do it, and I'm not gonna do it. And Lori, for those people joining or listening in, if you don't know your birth time or your specific birth chart things, these astrology movements that we are talking about are external planetary things that absolutely will affect each person differently based on their sign and structure. Right. But you can see the external movements and how that is going to play in. So let us also address the one other thing happening on Wednesday tomorrow. Probably, I would say, a bigger movement, maybe not so much, but I would say, and that is that the moon is going to be in Aquarius. Aquarius. How do you feel when you know that the moon is moving into the sign of Aquarius, Matt?
So again, I just want to say really quick too, the other thing that's important for the birth time is it sets what your rising sign is. And then it sets the 12 houses, which we don't really talk a lot about on this show, but 12 houses have, different rulers and different themes. And so, that kind of sets different pieces. That's why the birth time is important. And it will also impact mostly the moon, because everything else moves pretty slowly. So it's mostly the moon aspect that's going to get adjusted for this. And the moon changes about every 2.5 days. So this is a more fleeting energy than the bigger planets that we talk about. So moon's your inner world, your emotional world, and Aquarius is it's kind of that Uranus energy again. It's innovative. It's thinking outside the box. It's doing things different. It's a little rebellious. So I would expect some both innovative and kind of not following the rules, let's do things differently energy to hit starting tomorrow as well then, which is a very interesting combo with what we just previously talked about with the sun and Uranus being in conjunction. And remember, that'll go on for about 2 days, 2.5 days. So.
And that makes me a little nervous because I start to think about, when I think of Aquarius, I'm thinking of aqua, throwing the water out. I'm thinking don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that old saying, and how that may or may not fall into all of the big planetary shifts. I feel so bad that we left Pluto eclipse moment of the full moon in Scorpio. What a life-changing, transformative week it has been for so many people, for the country, for just declarations. And some of those things that people have said are really hurtful. So that Aquarius emotional speech being surrounded by Taurus energy, I get a little nervous. So what do you think that pans out for the prediction? That's really the only thing happening for Wednesday, hump day, unless somebody in the chat has something else, and please correct me.
People aren't going to do what they're supposed to do. That's what I think you're going to see a lot on Sunday, and it's going to be for deliberate reasons. So not doing responsibility, not... When does that debt ceiling thing, when does that hit? I wouldn't want it to hit tomorrow. If it hits tomorrow, that's bad, because if that's the kind of energy of, we know things might be bad, but we're not going to do anything about it. It's rebelling by not rebelling or moving or proving your non-conformity point by not doing something you should do. It's like a strike.
Okay.
That's just like a strike. We're not going to show up and work because we're pissed about X.
Yeah.
We're not going to do what we're supposed to do.
What he said. So, I see that panning out. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's move on to Thursday. I only have one thing written down for Thursday. And again, I always love seeing the additions. So you guys, if you have anything to add, please let me know. I have the moon in Aquarius. So we've just discussed that. But then that's squaring off with Mercury still retrograde, I believe, right? In the sign of Taurus. Oh, no. Anytime Mercury retrograde. How do you feel like that this is going to pan out for Thursday?
Well, I feel since communication's tough when Mercury's retrograde, and again, Taurus is this, again, kind of stable, stubborn, and indulgent energy. I feel this is just communicating by not communicating.
Quiet.
This is the I'll text later, and then you forget about it or something, and just this is just poor communication through just lack of communication.
Lack of. So then the ritual suggestion for that, or maybe the shadow work for those people working in that Mercury retrograde, where you guys, this is going to be, and we say that it affects electronics or communication, just really from the head to the vocal cords in that vibrational space. You don't necessarily see the destination. So in some of the discussions in the chat room tonight about like linear time and destiny and fate. And if you have the observation of, or the knowledge of, or the perception of, does it really change it? And it really does. And so Mercury in this space, you don't see it and you don't hear it. And so that validation is poof. It's in an earth sign of Taurus, which is pretty quiet, stubborn, and cold, pretty apathetic. A lack of what? What is it that you already feel is coming up in your space, and how is that going to play into your life? And then the bigger chunk out, right? Like the bigger step out. How is this going to affect? This is the debt ceiling day, I think.
What, Thursday?
I believe so. I'm thinking that's it. I almost am scared to look at our yearly predictions because I know that May is a wild ride.
Yeah, we predicted back when we did this show. We predicted, but I thought it was going to be close to one of the Pluto moves. Again, I don't know what lies ahead here. I think Pluto moves again in June. But yeah, we predicted that there was going to be a big issue with the debt ceiling. We just may have had the timing wrong.
Here we are. And here we are. Yeah. And we're coming up like pretty close, like within weeks. So that's kind of wild. Okay. Friday the 12th. Whew, we missed it by a hair. It's not Friday the 13th. Thank goodness. But Friday, we have two things significantly happening in the astrology or in the stars. So go ahead and put two little dots down for your Friday space. What's the first thing? Well, the first thing is expanding on that Mercury retrograde in Taurus, and that it is sextile Saturn in the sign of Pisces. So Saturn in the sign of Pisces. How do you feel like this plays out for what to expect on Friday morning?
You threw me with There we go.
There. Put it in the chat
When
room.
I was reading. So yes, again, this is poor communication. Sextile is synergy. Yeah, I don't like this though, because Saturn is rules. But I always think Pisces being the last sign has that kind of take one for the team, sacrificial energy to it. So this could be again not communicating. Something bad could happen, but we're just gonna, suck it up and, take some sacrifice for the greater good type deal. So I would view this almost like, you have till midnight to respond for something and you just don't respond. Like you let the time run out. So
it's weird that you say let the time run out.
And then I'm thinking with the sacrificial energy on that front, it could be, we're gonna have a recession. Things are gonna go really bad, but we need the pain now to prevent bigger pain later.
I had written down in my monthly notes that go out to the Gypsy Tribe members for people that we do close magic with, that Friday morning I had written the Monty Python skit that extends from I'm Not Dead Yet. Bring out your dead. Here he is. He's dead. I'm not dead yet. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. But close enough. Like the I'm Not Dead Yet skit. And I wrote that in for Friday morning. So hearing you say that, like, the time is running out. This is definitely almost a necromancer space. I'm wondering what is going to die on Friday morning, politics specifically. Maybe if we're lucky. One more thing, though, happening, and Steph or other astrologers in the house, correct me. Please feel free to share if you know something I don't. We are not the experts and know all. And we hope to chat with you and grow with you in the show. But one other thing happening on Friday evening. Ooh, it's a Friday evening. Maybe somebody has a hot date. Ooh. And then this happens. Matt's eyebrows raise. Venus and Cancer, trine Saturn and Pisces. So a lot of water there. Water. How do you think
My
about
eyebrows
that?
initially went up, but I don't like this one.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't either. But tell us why.
I'm generally, again, the water signs always get mad at me, but I like water signs. But this one, I view this as, Cancer is about security and, kind of, and can be a little manipulative and kind of, because it's a cardinal sign. So moving things to get greater security, and trine is synergy. But again, you have the Saturn, these rules and self-sacrifice and self. So I almost again, think back to like Victorian times with like the romance thing of, I don't love him, but this is a good arrangement for me and my family. It's like, I feel like this is sacrifice in the romantic space.
Oh,
I'm going to take one for the team because it's the right thing.
Never the right thing, is it?
Of maybe true love.
And I think of all the different types of love. I know, Matt, when you and I have done kind of more advanced magic workings and spiritual spaces, like the 8 types of love and the frequency of love and how you can manipulate love. You can suggest love, but some types of love you cannot control at all.
This could also be like those movies where, the couple is meant to be, but the one person just feels, it'd be better off if I just go away, and then they're gone. It's that kind of energy. It's drama. It's water on water, so this is going to be dramatic.
Dramatic! Exclamation. Yeah, and extreme. I think of extremes. Obligations, said Steph, something to think about with enduring partnerships and connections. Absolutely.
See, I see that Saturn in Pisces as should energy. You do it because you should do it, not because you necessarily want to do it.
Oh.
So this is romantic. This is basically movement in romantic security or financial security that's being done because it's what should be done, not necessarily what you want to do.
Yeah, and that kind of just again, when you talk about feelings, I don't know if that feels right. Right? Ugh.
It's not a good
Yeah,
combo.
don't.
These things on their own aren't bad. I don't like them together.
Yeah, I don't like the water on water. It feels like a tsunami kind of a space. So I don't want to say that too loudly, but I'm thinking there's going to be some major storms and some major emotional upsets. So May 13th is Saturday. And Saturday, guys, I know, right? I don't have anything of astrological value. What? Happening on Saturday, May 13th. That
So I'm just
doesn't
saying, whether
mean,
it's debt ceiling or not, there's going to be some big financial thing that happens by the end of the week that's not going to be good, but it's going to be spun as it'll be better for everybody in the long run, or it's our responsibility to do this, but it's going to suck.
yeah. No. Um, yeah.
Virgil, I don't know what's Virgil saying, but this is just so I just wanted to address this because I think he was trying to ask questions. We do the astrology aspects for the week, and so we try to do questions and answers in the chat, but we're limited in how many questions and answers.
Yeah, we are limited in the structure
I'm
of the
sorry, I think he got
show.
mad because I didn't answer. He asked a question about somebody that passed away. We're, yeah, we do
Yeah,
the best we can
no.
with that, but we're limited.
Yeah, and I would say that Matt and I also we do additional shows. So if you'd like to, wherever you're listening through, check in or send us a private message. We are more than welcome to dedicate time to, I think, more personal matters or for more personal times. So, but for this show, being able to reach out for everyone in a general space, but also astrologically to stay with that format. No issues there. So no worries. Nothing personal. we're not picking on British people, never specifically.
And we will try to get it in the chat, but we'll have to get it in the chat. And sometimes we play a little catch up on the chat.
Yeah, it moves very quickly. We use StreamYard, so it's kind of like 12 or however many different places all in one. And you're like, it's kind of overwhelming, but it's also nice. So you guys, for Saturday, for those people doing day-to-day breakdowns with us, Saturday, I don't have anything that you would necessarily put down as a dot. I'm looking at the planetary movements. Nothing is moving from one constellation to the next, and there's no, asteroids or planet Nibiru's moving over the horizon that I saw that I want to mention. But I will leave a moment for anybody who wants to correct me there. So then I put in my notes, no major movements, but that's a Saturday. So it's like, okay, well, what do we think is going to be happening then? Well, something major does happen on Sunday. So that is pretty significant. So we'll go there. Steph said, yeah, I don't have anything for the 13th, really, just the moon moving into Pisces. I have that on Sunday morning. So Sunday, we can put it Saturday night, though, just to kind of even it out. Saturday night, Sunday morning, depending on where you are in the realm. Sunday, the moon waning into Pisces. So that is the first of the two. And then there's something a little bit more significant that I think is going to be important. So let's put that in there. What do you have to say just about that small moon waning into Pisces? It's just adding more water.
More water, so emotional. I always say, out of the 3 water signs, I feel like Pisces is the more self-sacrificial one. So it's willing to, it's very introspective too. So that 12th house energy. So it's weird. So whenever the moon in this space, I'd say, particularly having this hit on a weekend, don't get too far into your head. I feel like this could you kind of go down the rabbit hole here with introspective thoughts and maybe with that water, that emotional energy, maybe not constructive thoughts and things. And so just make sure you're not spending too much time in your head.
Structure and breathe, regulate. Regulators.
That's true, and it's Mother's Day too, so I know there's always going to be positive, negative emotions on that, depending on negative. I mean, like, if mothers have passed on, things like that. It's just it can be an emotional day, and so you have emotional energies going on. So that's anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. As far as mental health goes, that's always a major theme that I think is important to mention. People, mothers, grandmothers, whether we all have them or have had one, but that doesn't necessarily mean that relationship is a positive one. That is a good reminder of. So,
Field guy, I'm going to
yeah.
say really quick, and I may misspeak on this, but I think field guy's a Pisces and says not sacrificing anything unless it's a shoe. I'm going to say I do believe you would know this probably more than me. I think Pisces is the most common sign of serial killers. So even when we say self-sacrificial, well, they might be willing to sacrifice you for something as well.
Right.
Just keep that in mind.
You don't mind helping me with a little something, do you? They might even talk you into it for sure. Pisces, but Virgo too, I think.
Yeah, Virgo's pretty high too. But I think it's Pisces 1 and Virgo's 2, which is weird. That would not be my guess.
Yeah, it's the
OCD. Ones you would guess. Like if anybody's ever looked that up, the ones that you would normally, at least in my opinion, the ones that I would normally guess aren't real high.
What a fun conversation. We should do that one night. Astrological movements of major serial killers so that people can get a vibe for kind of what they are. That would be a really fun show. Okay, Sunday, the main thing that I would say, throughout the week, if you're putting a bigger dot on any other dot, you're looking at the next 7 days, what is a dot that might be a little more significant is that Sunday we have Mercury finally going direct. Thank the Lord. Mercury goes direct and still in Taurus. So still cold-hearted bitch energy. But as far as Mercury going direct on a Sunday, that's a little unique. It's been retrograde since April 21st.
So here's what I'll say. It'll be kind of funny. That communication that you were waiting on, now you'll hear back from them. So don't be surprised if you hear back from like 5 people on Sunday that you were waiting to hear from. It's just it'll just start flowing again. Still gonna be stubborn communication. You're not gonna change anybody's mind on anything as long as energy's in Taurus, but you'll actually hear from them now.
It'll be shit like, I don't mean to be ghosting you, but I'm just really busy.
I'm looking at this. Yeah, if anybody's wondering why I have another screen up here and I'm looking at the serial killer thing real quick.
A lot of insights. I think of Taurus for, and we are kind of in this eclipse space too. So Mercury was and had began its retrograde right after that Aries new moon where we had a solar eclipse. And now we're coming up to this like return of the light time period taking place right around another little eclipse time. So I would say a lot of insights on productivity, progress, transformation, investment. Ooh. Getting back to action, but it's on a Sunday. Kind of a weird, I don't know. I always try and think about like politics and the world. How is it going to affect the world? How is that going to affect the world on a Sunday? What's going to be what announcement? Oh God, what announcements happen on a Sunday that's going to get people moving?
Well, Asia and Europe, they're halfway through our day on Sunday will be, their morning will be starting the following week. So, or it'll be their Monday morning. So something could happen.
Oh, makes me nervous. Makes me start to sweat a little bit. Woo! Okay. Rebel says, man, I'm waiting to hear back about official start dates for work. People waiting for school announcement. Yeah. Right. Virgil is saying some of the things that my heart and mind start kind of thinking because there have just been some really unique like panics and some really unique dispersing of soldiers and just kind of weird movements happening that make me think like, I don't know.
I'm going to put on my studious glasses here and I'm going to bypass for a second because I found this is interesting.
Oh, what'd you find?
So I pulled this up. The most common sign of serial killers, Scorpio, Cancer, Sagittarius, and Pisces are all tied at 46. Aquarius and Libra are next at 44. Capricorn, 42. Virgo, 40. Leo, 39. Aries, 38. Gemini and Taurus, 27. But
so I'm not even on the top of the
deadliest sign.
Deadliest? You?
Capricorns, despite being number 7, they have killed the most with 813 victims and an average of 19 per killer.
Heartbreakers.
Taurus has the fewest. The deadliest element, of course, the water signs, accounted for the highest number of killers and victims. 28% of the killers and 27% of the victims. Each sign's top killer. Okay, here we go. Cancer, Samuel Little, 61. Aquarius, Gary Ridgway, 49. Aries, Donald Harvey, 37. Pisces, John Gacy, 33. Libra, Bill Longley, 32. Capricorn, Dean Coral, 28. Sagittarius, Ted Bundy, 28. Scorpio, Belle Guinness, 25. Taurus, Earl Nelson, 22. Virgo, Gerald Stano, 22. Gemini, Jeffrey Dahmer, 17. Leo, Joseph Christopher, and William Suff with 12. There you go.
I didn't rank nearly as deadly as I thought I would. I don't know if that's a good thing or
That
a bad
is according to now. I'm going to add, because I saw some corrections in here. That was according to this site that I pulled up, which, you know, as Thomas Jefferson says, don't believe everything you read on the internet.
That is Thomas Jefferson's quote directly, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. I love Thomas Jefferson. I really would have loved to have had dinner with him. I bet he's a wacky dude. Wacky dude. Cannabis smoker, sleeping with his slave wives, doing late night inventions.
When we have extra time, that'll have to be another one of these discussions. What? Historical figures we'd like to have dinner with. But I know I derailed your talk here.
No,
so let's go back to Sunday.
We can always be derailed by serial killers, guys. You know that. Okay, Monday. All right, Monday. Focus, guys. Okay, there's only one thing that I have in the astrology happening for Monday, and I think it gives us a little reflection, a little insight into maybe what is happening over the weekend. Are there nuclear codes being announced or something? Well, Monday, Mars is in Cancer, and that's trine Neptune and Pisces. So I'll tell you right now, working in social work, this is bad news bears. Bad news bears for Monday. But I'm going to let you speak first. Because
I just got to say, we haven't talked about this in a long time, but when we first started the show, I always say that whenever I see a lot of water, it means I'm just not going to have a good time. Just I tend to not. Things don't go well when there's a lot of water stuff, and even though we're in an Earth sign right now, there's a lot of water stuff going on. So Mars is action. Again, Cancer, think of the crab. It's a cardinal sign, so it's going to drive things. But think of how a crab moves. It goes forward by going side to side. So it's never going to be direct. So this is indirect action. This could be influencing to others. What's coming, you're not necessarily going to see it. It's going to be kind of rearranging the situation. And this has synergy with Neptune in Pisces, which Neptune is deception, fog, dreams, in this kind of introspective Pisces energy. So I feel like this is delusion, deception, and people are going to move in indirect and kind of manipulative ways based on either bad information or how can I word it? Their views of things are going to be off. So they'll be reacting to misinformation or the wrong things.
Daggone it. They're going to think they thought they saw something that they didn't see because it was foggy and dreaming. It was just the night terrors that people are having, or the OD that someone had, or the screaming werewolf that wasn't. It was just a fox in the night, and people are going to say, that's it. I've had enough. I'm leaving. I'm quitting. I'm moving. I can't take it anymore. And it's going to be like, what is
coming on the heels of the
happening?
Retrograde miscommunications and people not talking, and we had a couple Aquarius curveballs in there and stuff. So this is just
yeah. And as Mary Beth shared in the chat, man, we enjoy being able to be a part of this every week, because this wild ride, this fighting and winning, as Steph would say in the chat, defending something or protecting something that's really close to your personal ideals, which, remind you, is not everyone else's ideals. So this little hole in the garden is going to create a problem. And I don't think that people are going to be open to change. I really think it's that moment on the roller coaster ride where people put their hands up, or they close their eyes, or they clench. You have to decide whether or not you're just going to take some joy in this craziness or not. And Monday, something
Here's my
What is-
energy for this, but I don't know if this is gonna. I don't know if this is gonna explain things for folks. Have you seen the show? I loved it. We just got done binging it. Have you seen that show, Traders?
No.
Okay.
No.
So Traders, basically, my opinion of it, there's 20 people, and basically it's one person is wildly entertaining, one person is basically Satan, and then 18 people are just profoundly dumb. And that's this kind of energy I see. They misplay and misread and screw up absolutely everything. And they'll be right to the backstabber and be like, "You're the only person here that I trust." And it's like the one person in the room that they can't trust. And it's just, they're just wildly bad. If you've seen that show, and I would do suggest it's worth watching, this is the kind of energy I see on that. It is just totally misreading situations, totally making decisions and moves on bad info and mucking everything up.
I love that analogy, and my intuition, and this is kind of why I love doing this show with you, is because the way that intuition hits me live, like impromptu, as I'm reading the chat and I'm hearing the people just need to mind their own business, the like very Among Us, someone's like Hitler was an Aries, like there's all these random comments, and it really occurs to me that a lot of what you're saying, it makes me think of like an Agatha Christie or like an Ocean's 11 movie, where if you get hung up on the fact of like, that's not right, they didn't do that, I didn't see that coming, like that can't be. And like sometimes you watch those kind of shows with that person, they're like, rewind it back, and you're like, come on, just be flabbergasted that you missed it and that you're surprised, because you're not going to catch it. That's kind of like the Tower card almost in the divination deck. So that's happening on Monday. And anytime I see Neptune and Pisces, I working in social work, is the equivalent to like a full moon on a Friday night. I imagine a lot of people go into crisis. A lot of people call and need just additional attention on those days. So that's something that I take note of. Tuesday, it's going to be a full 7 days. And it looks like we're going to have 10 minutes here to maybe take some questions. So Virgil, if you've been able to hang in there, or the other people still joining us, I've got a really cool tarot deck. I'm looking frantically for it because I know I brought it up here with me. And I owe Matt some cards, and I need to pull out some cards for you guys as well. So we might have time to do that.
First time in almost 3 months, I'm back in my office, so I have my deck.
Okay, see, look, it's a meaningful moment. Okay, and it looks like even though we have a lot going on in the astrology for the week, we don't necessarily have a lot. It's just big movements. So Tuesday, another big movement. Ooh, he says. Ooh. Correct me if I'm wrong, right, Steph? Correct me. Anybody add things to this? But this is, now I call him the Chris Farley of the galaxy. Jupiter, big boy. This big old belly, gas giant, coming in hot. And now he's cold. He's going to be cold and apathetic. What? I don't know what you're laughing at, whether it's the Genghis Khan or the cold and apathetic big boy. I don't know.
No, I
Did your brain give you a bad visual?
I took this in such a dark way.
Okay.
I heard you talking about Chris Farley and how he's wild and big belly and all, and then now he's cold.
Oh, he's dead.
Like now he's dead. And
he is dead too, though, now. Yeah.
I took that in a very dark way.
But he is, though. He died. He overdosed himself. And that is a Neptune and Pisces moment. So Jupiter enters Taurus on Tuesday. What do we?
Yes, Jupiter's opportunity. Jupiter is, I always say, it's that the car driving up and they open the door and go up, and your friends are like, hop on in, we're going. And so since this is a change, you're going to see a big opportunity shift. But we're going from very impulsive, not well thought out opportunities to now kind of digging in. It's going to be a little more indulgent. So there may be more opportunities to indulge oneself. So keep an eye on your money and the calories you consume, because there could be opportunities to spend and eat and indulge in oneself, but also these opportunities are going to be, I'd say, more stable and not shaking things up very much. So whereas Jupiter in Aries, I think, was an opportunity to kind of knock things down, change things up, really mix things up. Now things are going to slow down and kind of solidify.
That's really cool. You know, the astrology, when I was reading back through the Farmer's Almanac, they had said that this is one of the most significant shifts for the farmers and the indigenous people throughout the year, as it is really significant of those people who've made it throughout the winter months and who have endured and who are going to see that increase in their harvest, or the mold takes over or the flood takes over. It's kind of that internal, almost residual, if you're a paranormal investigator, energy that is moving around us all. Are you going to feel lucky? Do you, punk? Do you feel lucky? Or are you going to feel like it's missed you by?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know what I mean? Jesus Christ was a Leo. I made a shirt that said Jesus Christ was a gym rat recently, and it offended somebody, and they banned me from Facebook for a little bit. Jacine said, was going to say expansion in material or even your indulgences. So absolutely. And Rebel added, Jupiter is much like that god named that it's named for, the man Ho, the planet of hoeing it up, 100+ moons, and representing stability. Ironic that it is considered this, considering mythological context. It's kind of an interesting thing. Yeah. I love Jupiter. And I would say for those people who use astrology to go betting and gambling and watch their money and watch stocks, Tuesday would be a good day for that. Tuesday would be a good day for that because people will be spending a lot. But because of that, don't be a high risk spender yourself. Just kind of see the pattern and ride it as you can.
I think too, Rebel said that Jupiter representing stability is ironic. Well, it's, you know, I don't know if I wouldn't view Jupiter as my son's home. It's not that Jupiter represents it. It's Jupiter is now in an energetic space that values stability and not moving things. So it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like if Jupiter is driving and moving change, or the army, that's more Mars. But yeah, if you're thinking like, you know, opportunities marching, all the people are marching through. Well, now they're marching through mud. And so
yeah,
it's just gonna all that drive for change and doing it. It's just gonna be slower. But at the same time, people are going to come out with these hors d'oeuvre trays and say, "Here,
hors d'oeuvres." Yes.
So we're slowing down, but partake.
I see Jupiter when you had mentioned the army. I started to imagine it as a king's court, and I see that Jupiter reminds me of like the jester, like the entertainer, the going to be able to expand and make best of any lively situation. Or if you're watching A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger, who's also dead, that the guy who dances around and does like the hear ye, everybody, like that person that's the storyteller. It reminds me of how Jupiter is. It really is like the drummer boy of what's going on, can make or break the vibe. And so up until this point, it's been really emotional, really crazy. I don't know if I can do this. There's a lot going on, like a Celine Dion song. And now all of a sudden Jupiter is going to do the like, can't touch this. Can't touch this. And it's like happy and fun, but also in Taurus, like apathetic. Now there's one other thing that it's just a little asterisk I'm going to add in here, because we don't usually go into like additional asteroids and stars and all those little things. But somebody did mention that, yes, this is also happening on that Tuesday, which I think is another reason why it's one of the year's biggest days of movement and shift. The sun and star Algol, I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know him personally. The astrological star that is supposed to represent, think about this, power. Algol is closely linked with the myth of Medusa and has started out as the oracle goddess, eventually turned into the Gorgon with the head of the snake. The transformation becoming stronger as the essence teaches us to find our inner strength and power that transforms us from our traumas. The irony of that kind of falling into place for Tuesday, I think, is really interesting. So there you have it. That is the week in astrology for us. Holy moly. I'm going to pull a card for the week as a whole. What do you think, though, Matt? Just kind of hearing it. What do you predict? People in the chat, what do you predict? What's going to happen?
Here I am chatting while I'm on mute. I'll pull one too. Are you predicting what? Do you want me to predict what card?
I want to.
No, let's see if we can get the same card. That has
Right.
happened more often than it should.
Well, and I love this new deck. This is a new deck I got. It's the Murder Crows deck. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so I'm just kind of shuffling with my mind saying, give me advice, give me guidance for this week. Give me advice and reflection and perception on the vibes of this week. I have all my suggestions of what to expect. Okay.
Mine fits. I'm not happy about it, but mine fits.
Yeah.
The reveal. 1,
Mine
2, 3.
Ooh, you have a swords.
10 of swords.
4 of pentacles.
4. Okay. Rather have your card.
Well, I don't know. When I look at the picture, well, yours
picture,
too.
but...
So for yours, swords, what number of swords?
10. The guy laying there with all the swords in his back.
That's the end of the struggle.
The card of defeat.
Right, the end of the struggle. At least it's over.
But it's the same as what we're even just saying here. We're gonna suffer, but it's like it's over.
I love it.
It's done. Let's start rebuilding and moving on.
You're gonna suffer, but you're gonna love it. And then I think of this guy sitting here, very stoic, like a weird looking faced monk, sitting like Doctor Who, levitating. We're not quite sure. 4, I always think of like domestic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mom, dad, daughter, dog. Like the 4 pillars of domestic structure and security, and in the sign of Earth. So very Taurus energy, very middle of the ground, very cold and apathetic, which is, there's been that Taurus vibe going on. Okay. Anybody else?
I want to make sure I didn't misread because I'm rusty. But no, it is. Yeah, that is. So this is an interesting combo because I view that one as the clinging to things that need to be let go of, which I think also fits this energy of,
for sure.
And it's over. We lost. Let's move on and regroup.
Right. And to purge really what is needed. You know what I mean? To be able to get rid of it if you need to and not be a hoarder because it's sentimental in some way that really isn't. I think it's pretty powerful. You guys, I really love doing the astrological significance and being able to align it with divination. If you are interested in us pulling a card for you, we've got 4 more minutes left. I think that's enough time to pull some quick cards for people. And sometimes I often will do like, who wants a card? Anybody have a card? Mary, thank you for joining us. Steph, the drama. Virgil adding John Lennon was a Libra. And Rebel says, I'm going back to a company and I liked the position. I wanted to try and partially a role that I loved. Jacene said, I would love one. And so would Lori. So Jacene and Lori. You got Jacene's? Okay, I've got Lori's.
Oh, no. Do a Jacene one too.
Okay, so then I'll do Jacene first.
All right, here we go. I got Ace of Swords. I'm picking swords today. What do you got?
I've got the Queen of Earth. Queen of Earth. So what would you say for Jacene?
Well, I use Ace of Swords as opportunity, but it's opportunity in the realm of air or ideas. So look for a new idea to come. And then I'll let you do your Queen of...
Yeah, Queen of Earth. I'm always thinking of the thoughts, the ability to be quiet, to nurture the anticipation, like a mother with the baby still in the womb. things aren't necessarily birthed yet, but you're still closely able to nurture the intimate things, and you have a good idea of what they are already. So they're formulated and complete. It's almost like the 8th month of pregnancy. So there's just kind of a lot of things about to happen. Pretty interesting spaces though. And I love your cards, Matt. I love seeing them and how they speak to each other. All right, Lori said she'd want one. Pull one for Lori.
I got another good one. Strength.
Ooh.
I don't know what your question is, but I think that's always a good card to get, because whether it's good or bad, you're going to have the strength to persevere.
And that's a major life arcana card as well.
Yeah.
Kind of different than strength. 2 of action, or 2 of wands, 2 of fire. And the 2 of fire, you've got your plague doctor standing there with his falconry on his hand. The idea that you're about to send off, you're about to have the action. It's about to take flight. You're 20% in the middle of the doing. So I love that strength kind of accommodating that. It's almost like this major life theme of something that's required a lot of strength. And now you're at that point of the choice to do, and the choice is going to be made, which is pretty cool. You're very welcome. Rebel said, "Oh, I love these cards. Thank you all." JC said, "Wow, confirmation. Thank you. You're very welcome." Virgil adds,
Rebel, does that mean you won a card?
I like cards. Well, let's just assume.
Okay, we'll do it. Rebel.
Rebel, let's pull one for you real quick, and that'll be the last of the show. What do you got?
Depends how you look at this one. I got Knight of Wands, or King of Wands. King of Wands.
Okay, so King of Fire. How do you see the King of Fire?
I kind of view the King of Wands as potentially a very showy, very charismatic, but can also be possibly a little bit of a charlatan. So possibly a lot of talk and flash, but maybe a little lacking on the substance. So for me, it's just the way that I'm wired. I always put my guard up when that person comes up, because I kind of view kind of a con energy.
Con man, yeah. And I get masculine energy from that card read. So it's kind of interesting. And then this is a 4 of Cups. So that 4, those domestic pillars again, structure, security, foundation, but this is of Cups. And so emotion, the mask, what you're wearing, what role you're playing, and the intimacy that you're sharing between people, that, you go from wife to mother. That's a big shift and a big role and a big change. And it changes how you feel as well. So I would take that into account for whatever is going on in this space. You guys, if you would like to get a reading, Matt and I are doing some really cool specials, especially for Mother's Day. So get a gift for yourself or for the woman in your life. They don't have to be a mother. They can be a creator. They can be a feminine power, a woman that you love, that you want to just give a cool, unique gift to. So feel free to contact us directly, and we will absolutely make that happen for you. You guys, we love your support. So do not hesitate to reach out. Matt, anything we should add before I chat where they can reach us at?
No, other than I'll just do a selfless plug that now that I'm back, Sunday Night Dead's back. So be sure to check me out on Sundays.
Yeah. All right, guys, that is it for this week. We hope to see you next week, next Tuesday at 9 p.m. here on Astrology and Alchemy with Sarah and Matt.
I'm always behind. I'm a little rusty. Let me get back to that.
Okay.
All right. See you, everyone. Have a great week.